Let's stand for a bow to the Buddha and a bow to the Sangha. Thank you. We can sit down. Good morning, Adrian. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Elena. Good morning to you also.
Thank you. So good to see everyone. Thank you for coming today. It's always very bubbly, exciting to see everyone and to be able to share this wonderful practice. Some of you, we got together during the retreat, and some of you were terribly missed. We wish you would have been there, so you were with us in spirit. And today, this is actually one of our last sessions, our very last National Virtual Sangha session will be on June 11th. And we have a little bit more to talk about that at the end of the day today. But right now, this is, what would you call this? Like our second to last or first to last? I call it penultimate. That's the easiest thing for me to say. You know, I have the privilege today of the opportunity of delivering a little Dharma talk that I really would appreciate everyone's participation after that, because you know, this forum is for us is for us to be able to express our spirit of the Dharma, our understanding of the Dharma, to share with each other and to support each other in our practice. So your participation only increases the value of this gathering. So in a nutshell, today, you know, we have been all throughout the year, we have been talking about precepts, vows, and ethics, Buddhist precepts, vows, and ethics. And one of the reasons that we have explored that those three aspects of Buddhism is because they impact our lives in every way, in every day, in every situation, and they support us and they guide us. And having an understanding of what they are, what they mean, is important for us as lay Dharma teachers and priests and just simple Buddhist practitioners. From the 5 precepts, there is one particular precept. All of them are beautiful and all speak to me at some level, and I'm sure they speak to you as well. But there is this particular one, the 4th wonderful precept, that it always is present in me. It's like a must. I need to have it with me at all times without fail, reminding me. You know, this 4th wonderful precept refers to speech, refers to right speech. And I know, for me, I don't always say the right thing. I don't always say the correct, express the correct feeling. I say sometimes half truths for fear of hurting, for whatever reason. I say too much or I say too little. I say things harshly or too softly. I say things that create waves around, whether positive or negative. And so looking constantly at the fourth wonderful precept reminds me that I have control over that part of me that expresses out to the world and even to myself within myself, because I know sometimes I'm very harsh inside towards myself. You know, I could criticize myself or put down myself or not appreciate what I do for me and for, you know, others around me enough. And so I'm thinking, oh, you know, you could have done better. You could have done it, you know, this way or that way. So the speech is both internal and external. And whatever is going on in our minds or in, you know, and I think that this might be true for just about at least everyone I know, whatever goes on in our mind, in their minds, um, is what comes out, is what is put out for sharing with the world. And so having understanding for us of this precept is quite important. So in thinking of this, I started to look at the Nikayas to see what does the Buddha say about speech, and how does the fourth wonderful precept connect with the actual Buddha's teachings. And so, you know, there are throughout the Nikayas, there are many suttas that speak about speech and on speech and different aspects of speech. But this one is a short sutra, it's sweet, it's beautiful, and I think it speaks directly to the fourth wonderful precept. And that's the in the book of Fives, sutta number 198. So Master Gautama speaks to the Sangha about the 5 characteristics of speech, which when present make speech well spoken, blameless, and beyond reproach by the wise. And he says, speech is spoken at a proper time. This type of speech that is blameless and beyond reproach has the element of truthfulness. What is said is true. It is spoken gently. What is said is beneficial. And it is spoken with a mind of loving kindness. These 5 characteristics of speech that is blameless, that is beyond reproach, is embedded, it's the core of the fourth wonderful precept. We can see it there. And when we apply this teaching to the understanding of this fourth wonderful precept, I want to break it down into, different elements. The first element of the fourth, or one of the first elements of the fourth wonderful precepts is unmindful speech and inability to listen that cause suffering. So how does this connect with these teachings of the five elements of blameless and beyond reproach speech? Sometimes we hear other people speaking. They can come to us for, I don't know, whatever their needs are, and present it to us. But we are very busy thinking about how we're going to respond to this person. What are we going to say when they finish their presentation to us? And in doing that, we are not listening. We're not listening, and much less listening deeply. Listening deeply means that we are there present, fully present in the moment, and being in sync with that person, or the people around us, what they're going through, what's happening, what's behind the words, what is there that is not being said. And so we respond or not respond unmindfully, because we listen to our thoughts, our ideas of this person, our interpretation of what's being said, but we didn't listen to what was the driving force for that conversation, whatever feelings were there, whatever suffering. And in doing that, we don't help ease suffering. So, we talk about having speech or speaking in ways that are wise. Sometimes just being quiet is wise. Sometimes just offering some guidance is wise. Sometimes just asking, like I know Dave would agree, just asking, and how do you feel about that? Is deep listening, is wise. So because then another part of the precept is knowing that words can create happiness or suffering. This involves knowledge of our own suffering, our own feelings, our own reactions. What would I feel if somebody told me what I told this person? So knowing that how words might have hurt me in the past will bring me to that sensitivity, to that soft spot where I will be more careful and caring when I speak up, because I know from experience that words can both create or ease suffering and or happiness. And that is me, that is under my control. The words I say, how I say them, are under my control. And cultivating that knowledge, or exercising self-examination, and maybe looking at what happened when I say this to X, Y, or Z person. Okay, what did I do? Examine what was said, what was the interaction, what was the reaction there? Was there a reaction? And maybe checking in. So, how do you feel about what I said? So that we can have a better chance to create happiness with our words instead of suffering. Now, another part is speak truthfully with words that inspire self confidence, joy, and hope. Sometimes the truth is painful. Sometimes the truth is not well accepted by the person. Sometimes the truth might be something that is not beneficial. So this takes us to the timing, the part of the Anguttara Nikaya that speaks about proper time. Is what I'm going to say, even if it is true. Is it timely to speak this truth? Is it timely to express what I know or what I think I know, right? Because your interpretation of the truth is different than mine. So timeliness is very important. And in fact, in this sutra is the number one factor, proper time. So being able to recognize the timeliness of what we say, whether it's the truth or whether it's an opinion, is important. Timeliness is essential because sometimes our listeners' states of mind may not be ready to hear it. Um, I remember when I was in I lived in El Salvador for a number of years, and at the time the movie, what was the name, Titanic, came out, and I went to the movies, and the place was crowded, and I was like confused at the time because there was a time, I think, when they are in the water frozen, or it's a moment of life threatening conditions, and very sad, people have died and all that. um, and I know I mean, I'm crying. I can feel my tears just rolling down my face, but then I listened, somehow I lost concentration from the movie and listened what was happening in the audience, and I heard people laughing. And I'm like, what? What's funny about that? I didn't understand. So, that speaks to me about timeliness, proper time. It is the proper time. And then again, in that, I guess in my culture, when you're the deepest, suffering the deepest pain and sorrow and whatever suffering you're going through, we smile. I don't know why we smile, but we do. And I mean, I know, when I'm suffering pain that my mom, my sister, my brother, everybody died around me, I'm smiling and saying, yeah, my mom died with a smile. And I'm like, that's culture. But is it timely? So for us as Buddhists, I think it is important to understand that cultural aspect of other people's cultures, our own, and timeliness, to be able to say and share the truth. And sometimes when it comes to the truth, I have learned sometimes it's just better keep it to yourself, because you may think it's going to be beneficial, but really it's not. It might hurt you, them, other people. So beneficence is quite essential. So we must think about what we say. Is this going to benefit or is this going to hurt? Is this going to create happiness or suffering? Speech can also create harmony and or bring discord. And that goes along with the truth. Sometimes the truth better not be told because it will create discord. It will create embarrassment or suffering. So we need to tread carefully on how we say what we say, when we say it, so that we can achieve the goal of creating happiness, bringing harmony, bringing people together rather than dividing. So that was another aspect of the fourth noble truth. But it also includes awareness. Awareness is a very tricky thing, although we talk about it all the time. Being aware, staying aware, becoming aware. But awareness, when we're having, in just about every situation, we need to be present in the moment. And so when we are speaking, when somebody is speaking to us and we are thinking already, how am I going to respond to this? Or this person is making me, they shouldn't be saying this. When we're having those conversations in our heads, we are not aware. We are not practicing awareness. Because in a place where there is more than you person, there are others with you, we need to be present in the moment with them and with us. So, okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is my reaction, but what is this person trying to tell me? What is their motivation? Is there motivation that they are suffering and they want to ease their suffering? Maybe they want some guidance. They don't know how to ask for it. Maybe they want some support. They don't know what they need, so they don't know what to ask for. So being aware, in the fourth wonderful precept, it says, aware of the suffering. That immediately tells you that we need to be fully present in the moment with the other in order to be aware of the suffering. Because suffering is not always going to be at skin level. There is internal suffering that we need to be able to penetrate, to learn it, to know it, to perceive it. And for that, we need full presence, mindful presence, awareness presence. Then the precept also speaks about applying right effort. When we're talking about conflict, we need to apply right effort to find common ground, to find the conflict. Where is the conflict? It requires incisiveness, I think, to, and that is right effort, to manage and resolve conflict. We're not just going to go there and, say, stop fighting, and that's it. Stop arguing. No, we need to step and, aside and see what's going on. Unless somebody's life is imminently threatened, that you must intervene immediately. But otherwise, we need to sit back and exert right effort. So there is the Noble Eightfold Path manifested in the fourth wonderful precept. Then we have the vows. I vow to cultivate gentleness and compassion. That is the first Bodhisattva vow. Why do I have to cultivate gentleness and compassion? Because I vowed to save all sentient beings. So we need to cultivate that. It's a vow that we took. So there we have the 4 Bodhisattva vows manifested in these few sentences of the fourth wonderful precept. So I could say much more about this because, like I said before, this precept speaks to me very deeply. But I will only say that we need to train ourselves. We need to work hard at developing our own skillfulness in deep listening and right speech, loving kindness, compassion. And, we need to recognize that, all societies, the foundation of all societies is the group. And the group needs to be able to communicate in a productive, beneficial sort of ways so that they can move on, so that we can evolve. And so in our Sangha is no different than any other group. We are, except, of one mind, the mind of, hopefully, we are of one mind, the mind of the Buddha, the Buddha's teachings. We may not be looking for enlightenment. We may just want to, like we were saying before, relieve my headache with meditation. But even that requires compassion and skillfulness, loving kindness, timeliness, training. So then, going back to our initial intention to cultivate or to understand the precepts, the vows and ethics, I think that this really encapsulates all of these principles, because it has to do with speech. And with speech, we can do so much with right speech, timeliness, and commitment, which we can see it there in the fourth wonderful precept as well. We can achieve at least the goal of building or creating just a little bubble of happiness from time to time for us and for everyone around us and our Sangha. So now I open it for discussion. Please feel free to speak, whatever your mind, whatever your thoughts. They are right speech. So thank you for listening. Elena bowing out.